Hey, you guys, guess what? We have come together. We have come together like it's church on Sunday. The fourfold formula. We've got some more authors here for you, but we're doing a little bit of a personal side tonight. If you guys haven't seen any of the story teasers, we did those a few weeks back. And what was that? I'm going to go ahead and tag in the comments below. We did a playlist where everybody kind of came on and read about 250, 200 words of their own personal stories that are going to be in this book that I wrote with Markus Wettstein coming out this summer. And we had 40 writers and 3 of you are here tonight. I know, it's so exciting. It's so exciting. And so it's in the publisher's hands and we're super excited. We don't have a launch date for you guys yet, but it's going to be this summer. Hopefully it would be great if it was like, this month. So let's get the party started. So we have Ziggy in the house. We have Sharon in the house. We have Cyndi in the house. Ziggy is from Florida and Sharon's from Pennsylvania. And Cyndi is from up north in the Boston. Yeah, you live near Bar Harbor. No, you're not.
No, that's too far north.
Too far. It's too far. Up
Too
where
far to bring the car.
Where you park the car in the dooryard.
Too far to park your car in the yard.
That's right. That's right. All right, let's get going. We're going to round robin a little bit today. So Ziggy, I want you to tell me, what is it that you spend most of your time doing during the day?
On days I'm not cutting hair, chasing a 10-month-old giant.
A 10-month-old giant. I know.
Yeah.
He has a very large child.
He's 10 months old and he just jumped into 24-month clothing. He's a whopping 30 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are talking human, not a Great Dane.
No, human, totally human. Yeah.
He is a human.
A 2-legged. So he's going to be tall.
He's at 6 months, he was projected to be 6'5". So we'll see how true to fruition that is. Yeah.
You're not a small family. You're going to have some. All right, Cyndi, what do you do during the day? Now tell us a little bit about your work, because you do some energy work and your massage. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I'm a mom as well of a teenage daughter, which is the best job ever. And in my spare time, I am a massage and bodywork professional, been in private practice for just about 20 years now. I think most of it is physical therapy. I see a lot of patients that come to me from physical therapists that are seeking injury recovery. But interestingly, over the last 2 years, a lot of what I've been seeing is people coming in for like emotional release work. A lot of them are talking about having trauma and holding trauma, and it's been really fascinating to see the manifestation of the last couple of years and how it's affected people.
I bet.
The last few years have been really hard.
Yeah. Sharon, tell us what you do during the day, most of your hours. We're going to talk about fun stuff in a second, but what do you do during your day?
I'm a physician in a rural clinic, and that's most of my daily life. And I've got a little bit of outside interests in a radio show, and I just wrote a book, and I do shamanic work. So I dabble, master of not much and jack of all trades.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, we got to keep the mind going. So they say, use it or lose it. Ziggy, you have a very interesting hobby, and there's something on your wall right there, back towards your left. Yeah, or down. Is that your Lego? Yeah. What? Tell us about what one of your favorite hobbies are.
Okay, so there's 2. There's really only 2 aside from the kid and the wife and the family. Well, kids, I should say, because the 11-year-old self-sufficient at this point. He can make his own food. He's good. He's all right. He can feed himself. He's okay. But what brought him and I really, really close is his fascination with Lego, and that kind of like brought me into the fold for him and I to like because before my wife and I were married, he was just a wee little kid. So he was like, hey, I like doing Legos, this and that. He was really, really into it. So 1,400 miles away, he went and bought a set, built it, took a picture of it, said, hey, show this to Gabe. Here it is. And then it turned into this madness that you see behind me. Yeah. So that up there is on my city. And then I have my dinosaurs. This 4-panel thing under the license plate that says Brick Fan, that's just the little people.
Right.
And that's just a fraction of the little people that I have. So there's that.
Cool.
And then aside from that, he being so long apart, when I was living in New York still, I do a lot of live streaming on Twitch. So he would tune in on the nights, like I would do it 4 or 5 days a week. And so he would talk to me on there as well. So that was, it brought us really close.
Yeah.
And then when we kind of threw on him, hey, by the way, we're getting married. He was like, okay, like no problem with it whatsoever.
Well, yeah, because you kind of had a relationship, you'd established a relationship.
Yeah.
And you met him where he is. You found a commonality. Did you find that too, Cyndi? Did you, with your daughter growing up? Because you guys have a really good relationship. Did you kind of hit her, in the sense of finding a commonality in raising her?
Yeah,
Or did she go over here and come back? How'd that go?
well, for she and I, it was music. Music seemed to be our common thread because she's brilliant and that's not me. I checked out in 2nd grade math, so I was like, all right, so it's not the academics I'm going to connect to. So, it was interesting though, I did start her off with some guitar lessons because she used to watch me when she was little. She was intrigued with watching me play sitting on the living room couch, and she found my electric guitar one afternoon in my office closet that I was forbidden to use when she was a baby because it might wake her, But she found it and she said to me, I want to learn to play this. And I got to tell you, she was a natural. I really had to focus to struggle to learn to play an instrument because I was older when I learned to play, but she just picked it right up and took off and became a member of a band, and that was it. She was off and running.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Hey, Sharon.
Hey, what?
Hey, what is, let me think. I think I know what your answer is going to be. What's one of your things that you do for fun?
I mostly spend time with my animals. So I trained my retriever to be a bird dog, even though I don't hunt, just to see his mastery. And so we go up to the lake and he swims. And so that being out, that's probably what I do since COVID, is be outdoors and be in nature. That's my answer might have been different 5 years ago, but for the past 2.5 years, but my animals,
Your animals.
I rescued 2 dwarf goats and who were living in a neighbor's house, actually in the backyard in a rabbit hutch. So anyway, I have a menagerie. I have a menagerie.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's go. I'm pulling some of this out. Ziggy, favorite memory as a kid. What pops up without too much thought? What?
I would say going to my dad's really dangerous job back when you could take your kids to work.
Ooh.
Before my dad was a barber, he was a boiler operator at a paper mill. So he would walk me through the entire plant, and I would see like a 45,000 RPM winder going. The place was so deafening loud, and I was probably like 7 years old, maybe. And seeing the pulper where you would take bales of cardboard and drop into these knives, and you would see people that wanted to make extra weight. They'd throw a V8 engine in the middle of their bale of paper, and this thing would take it down to less than a 1/4 inch.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And seeing tow motors with 25,000 pound paper rolls just whipping through the plant. And we had to walk through all of that to get down to the boiler room that was 140 degrees. And my father would give me this welder's mask on a stick. up a 7-foot ladder, and he'd open the hatch, and he would see, not even kidding, like 70 foot tall flames just
See
whipping
these
past you.
stories? Look at this story
That
evolving.
was so
from
cool.
Someone who said, "Oh, I couldn't think of something." Look
Well,
at
he used to do it quick. That's just one of many.
Oh, I know. The barber, the guy behind the chair, right? You guys wait till you see his story in the book. And I know I sent Ziggy a message the other day, and I know when people ghost me. I know when I'm pushing.
No, I'm down.
Oh, he's down. Guess
Oh,
what
I'm
I've
so
asked him to
down.
do, Cyndi? I want him to blog for us because he has been a master barber for over 20 years, and the stories that he
What I'm
can
trying to figure
tell.
out is the avenue to talk
Okay.
about, because I get, now this is the funniest thing.
Oh, here we go.
I get the stories of people's lives in the chair. It's personal. It's them. It's there. You get the same thing in a live stream at 1 o'clock in the morning
That's
when
true.
all you see is a username. And I've
That's-
literally talked people off a ledge.
That's no, I
have small view counts. So you think, okay, no one's really going to pop in except for my friends, my family, whoever. And then you
save
get this
lives.
one person that comes in and say, hey, my girlfriend just dumped me. What do I do? And then you go. Like, it's if you're
I
an
think that's
empath or a healer by nature, like the game here doesn't matter anymore. The person here matters.
Right.
And you just kind of jump right into it. And then there you
Can
go.
you imagine that? That would be that
Crazy.
There's no, it's open forum. You can do
And
it,
we're
but
friends. I'm friends with that guy to this day.
to this day,
Yeah.
full of stories. See how much I love him.
I
Okay,
see
so-
your blog. I see your blog already, Ziggy. The barber's chair. The
I've been working on
barber's chair.
graphics, man. I'm not even kidding. Been working on header graphics. That's why I haven't responded. I was gonna drop it on you. Hey, what do you think of this?
Oh, I love it. You know, I don't know if that many people know, but we might as well come clean. So do you gals want to know where I get my cool hair from?
I know.
Do you?
I know.
I know.
Cindy's heard. Hey,
This dude down here.
Ziggy's my barber, Sharon.
Cool. Excellent.
It depends
But that's
on what I
okay.
look like if he admits it, right?
Because
Zig?
guess what my wife recommended?
What? Oh, I didn't even notice you. Look
I
at
know.
this.
Had to rock the hawk.
Look at you. That's great.
Looks like trash. This I just got to work. It was
It's okay. You get your headset on. That's awesome. Okay, Sharon. So you have written a book before, and we came together, and this is kind of got a lot of different personalities, which was, you know, like I've coached for a long time, but herding stray cats wasn't something I ever really thought that I would be pretty good at. And that's what writing a compilation book is about, is herding stray cats.
So where I'm a stray cat.
Everybody is, including myself, but it's a lovely
Okay.
thing because we all love cats. We all need homes. We're all emotional. It's like a beautiful little mantra t-shirt that I've made up. But on any given day, at any given time, you don't know when somebody's going to have that emotion, whether it's in their story or not in their story. But you put 40 people together, of which 7 of them are media partners, you guys. So what's really cool about that is to be able to see that they're human beings too. I mean, just like all of us, we know that, right? But when we came together, Sharon, did you have any expectations on being a part of a project like this, being an author and coming into something like this?
No, it was new of an idea. I didn't really have any, I couldn't see down the tunnel of what's it gonna be. I just thought, okay, this is new, this is cool, let's do it.
I know that's really good. Yeah, just take a gamble. Just take it. What's the worst thing that could happen? You meet a lot of weird people and you don't like me. That's still fun. Cyndi, what about you? What'd you think? I know why you tell everybody why you are part of this, the main reason, because it's unique.
Well, I
Be
think
honest.
what gravitated me to it was I had always wanted to write. I don't know if I wanted to commit to writing a book, but I
Right.
wanted to be a part of the whole process, learn about the process, because I could write, but I didn't know the ins and outs of, you know, the whole process, the media. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes into this, y'all, and it's overwhelming. So I thought when I saw this come across, I think it was Biz Catalyst that I saw this originally come across, and I read about it and thought it sounded like a really interesting way to get in there and just dabble in it, get my feet wet, and learn, while I could kind of sit back and watch everybody else take on all the stress. And all I had to do was write a story. So I could do that.
Yeah. You bring up a really good point. It's interesting. Where I thought you were going to head is that you're one of the stories that I use where you never know when somebody's going to get involved in something, right? We have several authors that have written books that still haven't done a compilation book, or people who've done a compilation book, or people who've never written ever, and it didn't matter. But you never really know why someone's getting involved. And I remember when you first contacted me, you had seen pretty much James Redfield's name as writing the foreword, which pulled you kind of in a little bit because you were aware of him and his books and stuff.
Yeah, sorry to leave you out, James.
Yeah.
Because I definitely for me was a catalyst. Like I saw his name and that pulled me in. I was like, ooh, I need to learn more about this.
Yeah.
But that is, you know, that certainly was like the carrot. There was a lot of fear too. You know, I hadn't really I felt a little intimidated at first, until I started emailing with you back and forth, and I could sense immediately your energy, and I knew instinctually that we would work well together.
Aw. So nice.
There goes that bullshit. There goes that bullshit button again.
Where is my bullshit button? See, I'm not at home. Zig, so what were your thoughts about, you know, you have lots of stories and stuff. Did you ever envision that you would share something in this with this platform?
No, my original intentions for all of my stories is I had a 30-year goal that after I cut hair for 30 years, I have pages and pages written of all the huge events. I just changed the names of people because they didn't tell you when you get your barber license that you get your therapy license as well. And I had, you know, like I have bartender buddies who are like, yeah, you know, it's the same thing. I'm like, none of that. No, dude, they're telling you stuff and they don't remember. They tell me things with the exact intent that I will shut my mouth and remember. So all these awesome events, and I'm talking highs, lows, laughs, cries, everything I have compiled in this journal or 3. And at 30 years, I was like, okay, I'm going to find a publisher, you know, see what we got, you know. But now that I have a platform, thanks to everyone and you especially, I can let some of those out. And it's really cool because I've learned so much, not only about myself, just people in general. Like even the meanest, most badass, fresh out of prison, whatever you want to call it, still has a soul, and they still have a moment of weakness where they just need someone.
And it's all stories. I mean, that's, you know, it sounds so simple. It does. It sounds so simple. And in the beginning of the book, that's really how I started, is we've been listening to stories since we were really little. I mean, even now, you know, my daughter-in-law, you're reading to your baby in your belly. It's like the thing we're trying to hang on to is literacy. It's read a book, write a book, share a story. And you know, I know at my age, you know, I can remember going, oh my gosh, my grandparents are getting older. I need to sit down and talk to them. And what about my heritage? And because that was kind of a little bit before, you know, ancestry.com. And so we had conversations back then about, you know, what are your favorite colors and those types of things. So stories are so important. And I think when COVID hit, it really hit my coaching practice in a different way, with a lot more mental health than it really was. You know, it's a lot more than just doing squats and eating kale when you want to be healthy, as you know, Sharon. So I really believe that coming out of COVID, it was important for us to have a platform and to continue. So there'll be book 2 and 3, but to continue to have a place where you can tell a true story, whether it's about anything, and we'll find a place for it in this book. But storytelling, we still judge ourselves. Who would want to hear my story? What do I have to say? Is it of any value? You know, the imposter syndrome thing. We have right now a few people in our book I'm working with behind the scenes that are really getting stressed out because this is about ready to hit the shelves and interviews are going to start. And they were kind of like all their feet were wet and ready to go. And now they're like, I don't know if I measure up to other people. And I'm like, I got you. If I have to sit there next to you, we're going to do this. Okay. As we finish up, we're going to go around. Cyndi, where do you see yourself in a year? And I mean it sincerely, not just a random question. Where do you see yourself?
In a year.
Yeah.
Well, I know the next year is going to be a little bit of a struggle with adjusting to being an empty nester.
Yeah.
My daughter's heading off to college in a couple of months. So, you know, that's going to be a huge transition for us here.
Yes.
I'm already feeling it now. So it's really hard for me to think beyond that. Because I know that's something that I'm going to want to like really pay attention to and focus on and spend as much time with her as I can and my family as I can. And I think a lot of that for me over the next year, over the next few years anyway, is going to be spending a lot more time in the natural world, having those conversations you were just talking about with my family, and spending a lot less time dealing with being online.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I find that, and I know you've experienced this too, Peggy, that, you know, the electronics are draining, and being online is very, very draining to, you know, to our bodies energetically. So we need to replenish those energies. And I really feel like I've reached a point in my life now that I've spent a lot of time here over the past 5 years, and I need to dial it back.
Ready to dial it back. Ready to get close to the trees, just like Sharon is.
Be a tree hugger,
Be
yeah.
a tree hugger. What are you gonna? That's great, Cyndi. Where do you see yourself in a year, Sharon?
My vision is to be doing teaching and speaking gigs. So like sort of platforming off. My book is supposed to be published in May of 23. So I'm hoping I'm going to be out there marketing it and teaching what's in it. So
Yeah.
that's my intention. We'll see.
I've told any of you guys that are listening, if you want to be a speaker, it's changed very much than it used to back in the day, where you were handed a plane ticket and a fee to go speak. It's a very different world where you're almost paying them to go into their arena to speak. And then you better have some garb to sell out in the foyer. You better have a book, you better have a t-shirt, you better have some pens, and you're going to fork up about 60%.
So you need to have merch. Okay.
You absolutely have to. So you are setting yourself up for success for sure.
Okay.
Good job. And Ziggy, a year from now, you know, your little monster is going to be walking here in probably a month and hanging.
He
banging.
is.
Where are you going to be in a year, buddy? What are you going to do?
I got a lot planned. Okay, so in a year,
Okay.
I'm hoping. So
brief.
I'm rebrand.
He's ready to write a book.
I've rebranded.
Okay.
For the stream, I want to put a lot more time in. I've done it for 5 years now, but I think I've cut my chops enough. I'm going to rip it and I'm going to send it. I'm going to go full bore and actually get into it, market better. I've been researching analytics for different social platforms, and use the barbershop essentially to keep gathering my knowledge of the human race and how to better around myself, not only for family life, but for public life, for stream, for all that. And then hopefully just, keeping writing. Everybody in the home front happy. Keep writing, obviously blogging like crazy. I got a bunch of ideas for that. And I didn't want to bombard you because I know you're busy with this stuff. So it's one thing at a time.
It's what I do. It's what I love to do. I love
Here's the problem, Peg. Anytime we're around each other, we feed off the energy. And it can go from 0 to like 50,000 like that. Like it's so bad. It's like we'll have all these ideas and we're just sitting back like, shit, we just talked about everything.
I know. He's like, I wish I had long hair. Yeah. All right, you guys, thank you so much for showing up and always showing up. It's been such a great community and we're just going to keep going and going. And I appreciate it. You sharing some of your personal stuff and being there for everybody else. So till next time, till next chat, you guys. We'll see you later.
See you.